Transitioning from a single lady to a single mom can come across as a big shock, especially if you are living in an environment where there's lots of single moms, or if you're living in an environment where there isn't single mom at all. It can come as a shock because a lot of times you're not really prepared to be a single mom. If you're in a relationship or you have a husband or whatever, it's easy for both of you to actually plan how you're going to go about things after birth. But when you are single, it is so different because there's so many adjustments that you have to make. And not only do you have to make adjustments physically, but you have to make adjustments mentally. And then if you're also stuck in an environment where there's loads of other single mom, or you're in an environment where all the mothers around you are all married or they're all in a relationship, that as well can be a culture shock. So the reason why I titled this as a culture shock of being a single mom is because we are in a time where becoming a single mom now is becoming norm. It's actually becoming a culture where a lot of women are single moms to men that don't like them, to men that don't love them, or they're single moms to rich men, or they're single moms to men that are from the hood. And when you are a single mom, your lifestyle is so different to someone who's in a relationship and has kids, to someone who's married and has kids. You're different because you are on your own. And even if the dad is around, majority of the time, you know that you're the one doing a lot of the stuff with the kid than the dad who's not in the picture or who is in the picture. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone because I don't really want to forget what I'm about to say in this video. I tend to forget things, or things tend to escape my mind if I don't write them down. So anyway, one of the things that I had here is that those of you that don't know me, I obviously had a kid at 16, and at the time when I had a kid, it wasn't norm for people to have kids at such a young age. Like, society wasn't used to that, and I was also brought up in an African household. My parents are both Nigerian. So to grow up in that household and to be pregnant at 16 was a shock to myself. It was a shock to everyone around me. And even when I go to school, I had to hide the pregnancy. Like, I didn't tell anyone in school that I was pregnant, apart from my principal and the secretary of the school, because obviously my safety and all of that. But I didn't tell my friends about it. I think they kind of like suspected it, but they couldn't approach me about it because I didn't say anything about it. So what happened in that situation was, like, because I didn't say anything about it, I just looked at myself as a teenager who's just pregnant, and that's it. I didn't see myself as a single mom. I didn't see myself as a mom. I just said, I'm just 16 who is pregnant, and that is it, right? And then after I gave birth, 3 years after I gave birth is when I started seeing a lot of people getting pregnant at 16 and 17 and 18. And I'm just like, what's going on? Like, is this a trend? It was getting really, really common for girls at 16, 17, 18 at the time. This was like 2011, 2012, 2013 to be getting pregnant as a teenager in secondary school. And the way these girls would carry themselves, they would carry themselves as the single mom who's got a lot of problem. They would carry themselves as a single mom who's got a baby daddy who's making their life hell. They would carry themselves as a single mom who should be getting extra attention, who people should feel sorry for. Like, they were just carrying themselves in a certain way that it was just giving, this is it, whether you like it or not. And they started dressing in a ratchet way. They started behaving in ways that they felt entitled, so on and so forth. Like, it was just bad aura. It was really, really bad aura because they were expecting people to see it as norm, to be pregnant at that age. But obviously society was taking time to get used to it. And for some people, it was something that was very unfamiliar, right? Because growing up, not growing up, back 20, 30 years ago, no woman was proud to be a single mom. most women desired to have a husband and get pregnant and have their husband beside them and have a man who will provide, right? But the single mom culture now has become norm to the point that there's a certain way single moms are moving that it could really sabotage how their future would look like, and it could sabotage them living a luxurious lifestyle. Okay, on this channel, I'm all about single moms pursuing their career, single moms living a luxurious lifestyle, single moms, remarrying, getting married again, putting themselves back on the pedestal. That's what this channel is really about. So if you're that single mom who prefers to be single for the rest of your life and you don't give a damn about anything else, then this channel might not be for you. Okay, the thing that became really shocking to me when I became a single mom was how a lot of my classmates who were single moms were not bothered to pursue their career anymore. They weren't bothered to go back to school anymore. They weren't bothered to become something great for themselves and to society. They weren't bothered about being financially free. They preferred to just, stay at home, look after their kid, and let the government feed them, and they can just live off of that. And that was what they were okay with. Luckily for me, I wasn't really brought up in that kind of environment. I was brought up in an environment where I had to go to school. I had to become something, and I had to make sure that I will be earning a living for myself. So I didn't have this issue where I felt like, oh, okay, after I give birth, that's it. That's the end of it. After secondary school, that's the end of it. That was not my case at all. I did not even have that mindset. As soon as I gave birth, 2 weeks later, I remember telling my mom that, look, I'm going back to school. And my mom was like, it's just 2 weeks. Like, your body still needs to recover. Give your body some time. I was like, no, I'm fully okay. I want to go back right now. And so that was like the mindset that I had. But what I've noticed is when you become a single mom in an estate, when I mean estate, I mean where you're living. If you become a single mom in a place where you are surrounded by so many single moms, there is a high chance of you becoming like them in a situation where you don't go back to school, you don't have a career, you don't have a degree, you're not financially free, you're depending on the government, you're dealing with men that other single moms know, or they're kind of like in the same environment, in the same circle. You could end up like that. And the reason why you could end up like that is because that's all you see all day long. The particular area that I know, and this particular area is packed with single moms. It's packed with women who used to have a man, they got pregnant for their man, and their man left them and moved on with somebody else. And those mothers who lived in those areas, when they had daughters, they also had daughters who became a victim of what they went through. And so this particular estate that I know, I'm not going to mention it here obviously, is packed with single moms, and there's a pattern of character that you will always see with these type of people, which is rudeness, attitude. And I'm not just saying that single moms are rude or they have attitude, but because when a single mom is living in a estate or in an area where, some people will say, oh, from the hood, or in Europe, people say council house or government homes and all that kind of stuff. There's a certain character they have. There's a certain behavior they have. There's a certain way their kids behave. There's a certain lifestyle they live. They don't live a high value lifestyle. They live a very low quality lifestyle. And it became a shock to me how some women would become a single mom and they would just throw away their dreams, throw away their career, throw away their vision. They're no longer interested in that. They just want to be at home, be lazy, wear their pajamas all day long, and just look after their kids. And to me, I could never understand that, because I'm like, what do you look forward to? Like, when you wake up every day, what do you look forward to? What drives you? What motivates you? What moves you? What makes you realize that, oh my God, I want to become this? Like, which woman do you look at and say, damn, I want to be like her? Like, she inspires me to want to be something in life. She inspires me to want to pursue something in life. things like that is what goes through my head, is what goes through my mind. So anyway, there's some environments which I might talk about in another video that does promote single mom behavior, that does promote women to be single moms and not pursue their career. But I will talk about that in the next video, actually. Another culture shock that I experienced with single moms was how a lot of women were happy to get pregnant with men that were not their husbands. I just couldn't understand that. Like for me, I've always grown up to understand that it's best to have kids with the man that you're married to. And also being a Christian as well, family unit is so important. And as a Christian, you know, we're not obviously supposed to have sex before we get married, which obviously means you're not supposed to have kids before you get married. But a lot of people have kids with their boyfriend. And it was how some girls were even proud and happy to have kids with a man that they don't like, have kids with a man that was broke, have kids with a man that doesn't even respect you, have kids with a man that that doesn't even value the family unit, and they would brag about their man, and their man is out here, you know, sleeping with other women, dealing with other women, in a relationship with other women, and they would brag about the father of their child. They would brag about their baby daddies or whatever they call them. That to me was a culture shock, because for me, I could never, when I had a kid with like the father of my child, we didn't even like each other. Okay, it was just it just so happened that we had a child, but we didn't like each other, we weren't in love with each other. And I would never ever brag, I can never ever brag about a man that doesn't love me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense to brag about a man that doesn't love you, to brag about a man that doesn't like you. It, like, my DNA just doesn't understand that. It never understood that kind of a thing. So when I used to come across girls that were like my age who became single moms, and they would talk about the father of their child and brag about him, and I'm like, but that dude has moved on with this other girl, so why are we like, why are you still, you know, like, why? Why? I just could never understand. Another thing that I realized, another culture shock that I realized, was that they were okay with not with living the regular schmegular life, the low life, right? What do I mean by low life? Like, you can't go on holidays because you can't afford to, because you have no job, you have no career. Then you can't buy designer stuff because you can't afford to, you have no career. Because when you depend on the government for money, and the government gives you a house and everything, they tend to monitor you, they tend to monitor your income, they tend to, you know, give you money that can only survive you from day to day, but not money that you can save and travel and do luxurious things, right? And for those of you who are watching me and like, oh, but some girls, like, some of us don't care about designer bags, and some of us don't care about, you know, living in nice houses and blah blah blah. This channel is for single moms who wants to live a luxurious lifestyle. So if you don't care about these things and you want to live a low life, like you just want to live in a regular schmegular house and live a regular schmegular life, like I said, this channel is not for you. Okay, this is for single moms who want to be luxurious. They want to live the lifestyle that they can go to bed and feel beautiful, wake up and feel beautiful, see beautiful things around them, and be able to travel and be able to experience life and see the other part of the world. Okay, because you only got one life to live. So if you only have one life to live, then you need to make the most out of that life. And being a single mom shouldn't stop you from living your life. It shouldn't stop you from being the type of woman that you want to be. So anyway, like I was saying before, what was I even saying before? Dun 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 dun, I forgot. Another culture shock for me was that when I was surrounded by women who were single moms and they were living like a very low quality life, I couldn't really talk about success. I couldn't talk about ambition. I couldn't talk about career. I couldn't talk about finances. I couldn't talk about things that could progress into making your life better, because to them it's like, what do you mean? Like, we're all single moms. Like, why are you thinking like that? Like, why are you thinking differently from the way we are thinking, right? And this is what sometimes can cause jealousy between one single mom to another single mom, is when you have one single mom who lives a very low quality life, and she now sees another single mom who lives a very high quality life, and she's wondering, like, how is that even possible? Like, how does she get her money? What does she spend her money from? Who's giving her money? This and that. I find that as single moms, we have to be very selective with the type of single moms that we talk to, chill with, or play with, because there are some single moms who really don't thrive for anything more in life. Like, they really prefer their low quality life. They don't see themselves becoming better. They don't see themselves becoming that woman. What causes jealousy between one single mom to another single mom is when one single mom decides to live a low quality lifestyle and she meets another high value single mom who is thriving for more, who's career driven, who dresses up, who looks good every day, shows up every day. And you have this other single mom who lives that low quality life, and she's like, you know, how does she get her money? What is she doing? You can't even have, sometimes I find that you can't have intellectual conversations with other single moms because of their lifestyle. If they're living a low quality lifestyle, you can't be talking about financial freedom. You can't talk about being ambition. You can't talk about career. You can't talk about progress, because they look at you like, what you on about? Like, what you talking about? Because she doesn't see herself like that. So I find that as single moms, and another thing that became a culture shock to me was I had to be very selective with the type of single moms that I talk to and what I even talk about. I just thought, oh, you know, single mom to single mom, we get it. We could talk about anything. We can, you know, discuss this because we both understand, because like we're both single moms. But I realized that that is not the case, because every single mom is different. There's some single moms who do live a very low quality life and they don't have any expectations of anything better than that. And then there's some single moms who are career driven and they're on it. They show up every single day. So I find that as a single mom, just because somebody else is a single mom doesn't mean that automatically you both get it and you both can be friends. Is not actually the case, because jealousy can exist in that situation as well. Another thing that I wrote on here is what I found with a lot of people who became a single mom at a young age was that after they became single moms with baby number one, it wasn't that long before baby number two came into the picture for the same dude or another dude that don't like them or another dude that wasn't going to marry them. Okay. So it was this thing where they became a single mom. They forgot about their career, forgot about their ambition, forgot about their goals, forgot about their dreams, threw it all away and decided to live a low quality life. And when a woman decides to live a low quality life, one of those things is sleeping with a man and allowing a man to have access to your body before you get married to him or before he even meets your parents. That is a low quality move. And any single mom who is thriving to become better, who is career driven, goal driven, the last thing you want is another kid for a man that you don't like or for a man that don't like you. And I found that even when I'm around single moms, I can't even talk about you know, wait until marriage or like things like, oh, I want to get a man who'll provide for me, this and that. Like, they would look at me like, what are you on about? Like, you're a single mom, like you shouldn't have all those high expectations. Meanwhile, for me, I never saw myself like that. I just saw myself as a girl who's just had a baby and that was it. Like, I never really attached myself to the whole single mom thing. In my mind, I never did, even though I know I am, but I just didn't move like that. And so it goes back to being very selective to the type of topics that you talk about and around other single moms and the type of things that you say and even how you dress. Listen, I have had single moms who were my friend and they would be jealous of how I would dress and they would question, like, if you're wearing this now, what are you going to wear in this event? What are you going to wear in that event? And how do you get this? And I used to think like even though to me, I would think, oh, what I'm wearing is like, it's not that big of a deal. But to them, it was like, like what I was wearing was too much, and where I would shop, they couldn't afford to shop in that place, and they couldn't understand like how I had the money to do so. And instead of us to be friends and to just, you know, get along, it like most of the conversations or the topic would be them giving me like some kind of bombastic side eye, like trying to get a peep into my lifestyle, trying to get a peep into how I make money, even though we both get the same salary, we both do the same job. You know, it's things like that that I had to realize that not all single moms are the same, and not all of us mentally are in the same place as well. So that was a huge culture shock to me. I just thought that when you become a single mom and you meet other single moms, it's easy to get along and it's easy to, you know, talk about certain things. But I realized that that was not the case. These were like things that it took time for me to embrace, and it took time for me to understand that I've got to be very private with my life, and I have to be very selective with who I chill with the type of people I hang around with as well. Another thing that I noticed was my environment and always thriving to upgrade. It is so important that as a single mom, you look for ways to upgrade your life. And due to the experience that I've had with other single moms, with jealousy and seeing the type of lifestyle they live, I've learned to move in silence and be private for a lot of things in my life. And I find that doing that protects me and my child. Yeah. So what I would suggest is that if you're that single mom who thrives for better, or you're watching this video and you're like, you know what, I want to get myself back on the pedestal, I want to get my life together, I want to pursue my goals, I want to pursue my dreams, you need to learn to move in silence. You need to learn to be private, because as single moms, we get judged a lot. People, you know, have like a perception or an image of what we should be like. When I tell people that I'm a single mom, people are constantly shocked all the time, because they expect the single mom who walks out of her house with pajamas all day, or with a bonnet on her head and for school runs, or a single mom who's outside her neighborhood shouting, breaking doors, shouting at her man, or a single mom who shows up to work with ratchet clothes and messy hair. And I'm just not that person. So when people find out that I am a single mom, that they're just in awe, they're in shock, right? That's how you know you're leveling up. That's how you know that you're showing up as your best, is when you tell people, oh, I'm a single mom, and they're like, what? Because you know, you got it together, you're always put together every single day. So these were a few culture shock that I experienced amongst the single mom community. And I'm pretty sure if you're a single mom watching this, there are certain things that you would have experienced when you first became a single mom that you didn't even realize exist. And it would be nice to hear your experience in the comment section of this video. Don't be afraid to write your experience. Any questions you want to ask me, feel free to ask in the comment section, or you can email me. I will leave my email address in the description box as well. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in my next one.